As Black Americans, we need to make sure that we stay educated on ways that white supremacy stay constantly attacking us. See, when it's a police doing something to black people, and they take one of us out, that's kind of easy to see. You can easily see white supremacy in that system, how white supremacy maintained the race soldiers. It's very, very easy. But what about the constant and daily attacks of white supremacy against black people that we don't talk about? We don't speak about this at all. We're attacked more daily by the systems of white supremacy that's in place, more so than the police. You understand? The police is something you can see, but the other ways, the way we're attacked is what you can't see, and what is, to me, that harms the lives of black Americans daily. So case in point, there's this story out of Pennsylvania. Now, they say a Commonwealth Court judge ruled Wednesday that Pennsylvania's school funding system is unconstitutional. Now, why would it be unconstitutional? He said because it inherently disadvantages poor school districts by relying so heavily on property taxes. Now, they say that system, which is more likely to underfund impoverished school districts, is seemingly designed to keep the rich in positions of power by maintaining an uneven playing field. The arrangement not only discriminates against poor black communities, and also they include brown, but we just focusing on black people here, of course. It is also victimizes the same poor white people who are so often used as foot soldiers to uphold these kind of inequities. They say, however, maintaining inequality through education is about much more than pitting people against each other based on race and class. Also about the messages we receive through pop culture and mass media. The messages are an education of sorts, and they have often been used against black Americans. For example, symbols of freedom like watermelons to empower words like woke, and say our attempts at self-determination have often been repackaged to advance the cause of racism. And we'll continue here, but let's talk about school districts and how that system of, well, we were relying on property taxes to fund them. Schools should be completely funded by the taxes of all people throughout the state. The schools should get an equal amount of money, no matter the location. One thing that white supremacy like to do to black people, and also poor whites, but see, poor whites still have social currency, the currency of whiteness. So I go so far in what I say about poor white people. The only issue about poor white people that I will say, they are the most delusional group of people ever in America, because you're literally being done wrong the whole time. And yet you allow the upper echelon of white people to convince you, well, you know what? At least you're not an N-word. So that makes you better. Even though you go to a poor school, even though your neighborhood is all meth out and all heroin out, right? And all fentanyl out, even though you struggling, you don't really have much. You've been put out on the street too. But you know what? At least you're not an N-word. At least you're not one of them. So that alone makes you better. And they will actually go vote for policies that actually against them. Believe it or not, they will vote for policies that benefit people who makes 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, millions, billions of dollars a year. They'll go vote for those policies that they will never benefit from, because in their mind, at least I'm not one of them N-words. At least black people, we know our position in America. We know, we understand, and this is why we can fight certain things. And also, when you have the social currency of whiteness, it should be no excuse for you to be poor, because you can show up with less education, no experience, anything, and get to what black people can get to. They had to go to school for bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, who've been on jobs 10, 20 years. You can literally walk in and become their supervisor in 6 months with the social currency of whiteness. That's why I really don't feel sorry for poor white people, not in this system, because everything is handed to them. If you're not making it as a white person in this system, then you ain't gonna make it at all, because black people got to fight against everything and we still make it. Understand what I'm saying? But when they depend on property taxes and they price homes in certain price ranges, they know who they're going to X out. Let's call it what it is. The average person in America makes about $42,000, especially in the black community for sure, make about $42,000. Well, if they price homes way out of that range where black people can afford it, and they know that white people, when especially married couples have a range of 100,000 or up, well, they price them higher homes, right? Then they can keep you out. So if they say, well, let's do it off of property taxes. Well, if this home over here is 500,000, 600,000, and the homes in that area is about the same price, and they paying those property taxes, they're going to build a better school, and everything is going to be better there. All the resources going to be there. Now you go take it to an area where the homes don't cost much, or maybe it's apartments in these areas, or townhomes, condos, and things like that. Just a low income housing where only those property owners are paying, but it's not everybody in that apartment complex paying property taxes. So they're going to get low money. So what they're going to do? They're going to say, well, this area don't get much money because that's why we don't have much to invest into those schools. It's not about race. It's just about finance. That's all it is. It's not about race. But they purposely make sure to do that to black folk. They trust me. These people have it to a science how they discriminate against black people. It's done by precision. They know how to price things to keep black people out. They know, how to put things in certain areas to keep you out. And then if you are over there, then they automatically, in their mind is this: if they see you moving in their neighborhood, automatically they know, oh, this black man or black woman make money. Because he couldn't have been approved for that house over there without him making X amount of dollars. If they see you shopping in Whole Foods in their neighborhood, if they see you in Trader Joe's, or they see you in Sprouts, and your basket is full, that tell white folks right then and there, oh, that he or she, or this is one of them ones that got money. We definitely got to keep an eye on them, and we got to approach them a lot differently. Because I'm gonna tell you something, they approach you a lot differently when they think you got money or know you got some sort of money versus when you poor. Let me throw something out y'all about this. How many times have y'all seen the black lawyer, the black doctor, the black architect, the black entrepreneur that live in them same neighborhoods with white folk? Them police is patrolling those neighborhoods every day. Them police see who coming in and who coming out. They see that black person every day. How many times have you heard of a black entrepreneur who lives in one of those same neighborhoods? Let's say in Houston, he live in River Oaks. Let's say a black man live in River Oaks in Houston. I haven't heard of one black teenager be gunned down by the police in River Oaks. Haven't heard of it. I've been covering stories for years. I haven't heard of a black doctor's son being harassed and gunned down by the police, shot 30 times by the police, and then police patrol them areas heavy. Haven't seen it, but you have noticed, if you look at all of the police killings that they do of black folk, pay attention to the area and the income. They do this in the areas where the income is low. Why? Because they say, okay, these black people don't have resources to protect themselves and even fight back. Those other black folk that's shopping at Whole Foods in this neighborhood and going to them same schools that we talking about, oh, they made who do they know? Do they know lawyers? Do they know judges? Do they know a senator? Do they know they state government? Who do they know? Because for them to get in here, I know they had to go through some hoops to get in here. So yeah, we need to approach them. Matter of fact, what they'll do is when you move in the neighborhood, they'll show up at your door. Hi, how are you? We just want to welcome you to the neighborhood, and it's great to meet you. And yeah, I'm Alice, and this is Jennifer. And yeah, we just welcome you here and everything, and we're just so happy to see you. And like, oh, okay, all right, nice to meet you, Alice and Jennifer. Yeah, we brought you, here some cookies. We got them right down the street from this, one of our favorite places, and your kid, you really go enjoy the neighborhood. It's a clean place. It's a great place to build families. So okay, all right, well, I thank you, I appreciate it. Now, what they do when they do that, they come in nice. They're doing recon. They doing recon to see who you are, to see what kind of black person you are, or are you one of them black people that slipped in as one of the ones I wish one of them would, or are you one bucking your eyes and say, oh, Miss Jennifer, I'm so happy to be here. When's the next potluck? I'll bring something, ma'am. They trying to figure out if you want them kind of blacks, or you want them kind of blacks. They don't know how would even categorize you in, because you know how to speak in certain ways. They can see you hella educated. They know you're not bucking your eyes. You're not being militant, but you actually are militant. But you do it in a way that they can't put their finger on it, right? I always tell people if you want to be militant, that's the best kind of militant. The ones that nobody can case you. They know you smart. They know you don't F around. They know that. They know if they bring politics to you, you know how to discuss it. I mean, it's been so many times I've discussed politics with them folks, and they were like, wow, you know a whole lot about that. You're extremely smart. And I respond to them like, I'm supposed to be? No, I'm not saying that. Like, oh, okay. I was trying to figure that out. Like, why you bringing that up? Just like, I don't like if they ever tell me you speak so well, and if I was, then you respond the same way the next day when you catch them off. Right. They say, oh, wow, you speak so well. Like, where did you go to school? I always tell people, do them the same thing they do us every time. Do the exact same thing. I say, if you want to really freak them out, if they was to ever call you an N-word, turn right back around, and call them one back. Call them one back. I'm talking about the way they say it. Say it to them right back the way they say it to you. Watch how you switch the energy. Watch how they're going to be in defense mode, because their whole life they've been so programmed for you falling apart and getting emotional when you hear that word. I'll tell you what, I wish one of them would say that to me to my face. I wish one of them would. And I love to get that on camera. Watch a psychological breakdown, how I can break them, because it's so easy to break their mentality, because they've been lied to the whole time. We're talking about the ones with white supremacist views, of course. But they've been doing this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, for a long time. And see, this is why, because they do it in this manner with economics and how black people not making a whole lot at times, or black people misappropriating our funds, because that happens too. Because we got black folk that stay in certain areas, but then I go into Houston and I see you sitting at Joey Uptown or Westheimer. Or you stay in a low income area, but I see you in the Gucci store. So it's not that you don't have money. It's the fact is you don't like to appropriate your money. That's what it is. And because you misappropriate your money, that's why you stay in those areas instead of saving that money and actually buying some stuff just to save you some money, because you can make anything look fly. It's about the person, not the brand. Like, I seen this kid the other day on the internet, and he was talking about all these name brands he was wearing. He was showing about, I was like, this dude was wearing at least $4,000 worth of stuff. And in my mind, I'm like, this is how my mind's computing. $4,000. I can take $4,000, put that in my brokerage account, and then go buy me some more ETFs, because my ETFs are doing real good right now. That's how I think. I don't think that, oh, I'm gonna go buy this brand and that brand and this and that. And then what you gonna do with those clothes? Those clothes do not have any kind of return on investment. At least my when I get ETFs, I get a quarterly dividend and a monthly dividend. None of them clothes gonna give him a dividend. Basically, you'll get a percentage payment back into your account. Either you can reinvest it or you can actually keep the bread. That's the stuff I'm talking about with black folk. We so misappropriate our money, and looking good for who, man? Looking good for who? We can actually get out of these impoverished positions. These people love for us to do that. That's why they want these celebrities to push these brands on us. It's because if they push these brands, and a long time ago, I was told by Dr. Kimbrough, he said that black people, he said how they move with their money is based off of what makes them feel good about themselves. He said, so that's why the name brands are pushed, because black people feel good about themselves and they put on the name brand. He said white people, feel good when you offer them security. And he was talking about how, for instance, when they say you're in good hands with Allstate, we say, well, that's security. White people always talking about, well, I need to feel safe and I need to feel safe. And even a lot of times they mean safe from the Negro, but I need to feel safe. Versus black folks, you always want to, put some name brand on you. And it just amazes me to watch a black person at this stage in the game, and we all know, the business, we know the history of a lot of these name brands, is that we still putting that on our body. You happy with a Gucci belt? Gucci don't like you. You happy with a Louis belt? Louis don't like you either. You know what I'm saying? Why are you walking around here? If you're going to wear it, wear the one where nobody can see the brand. If you're going to wear it. I'm a firm believer of also, if I do wear brands, it's brands you don't know. But I promise you a certain caliber of people know those brands. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Or getting your credit in certain positions where you could be sitting in certain areas, right? There's a lot of things that we can do as black people to fight back against economic racism, but we don't, pay attention and see the game for what it is in America. Because in America, they're going to be waging economic racism on you every day, every single day, brothers and sisters. And I understand that. I understand it. Like them car notes, for instance, is another thing. Car notes now is getting up to $1,000 a month. There's no reason to be paying $1,000 a month on car notes. I just seen a sister as an economist was talking about this. She was saying these car notes are literally taking the wealth away from the middle class. Well, we choose these car notes. We could put our foot down and say, I'm not paying no more than $300 or $400 or $500 a month car note. Now, if you want to pay for a certain car that's a certain brand just because you like that you always want to enjoy, fine. And then put a bigger down payment. But this is how I think about that. Okay, I put all this money down. Cars depreciate. Once again, what type of return on investment do I get on a car? Cars are the worst investments ever. And our people are happy getting a Mercedes Benz. That car has no value once you leave it off the lot. You don't believe me? Buy a Mercedes Benz today, turn back around tomorrow and try to resell it. Watch, you will not get the same amount of money back that you bought it for the most part. Now, I know during the pandemic and they had this quote unquote shortage, then people was really caking on those used cars. Yeah, they really were. Now, I don't know if they're still doing it, but most of the time you're not going to get that same money back, especially if you bought it because of the interest rates, etc. But if you want to get around that, I always tell people, well, shoot, get your credit right and lease a car. When you lease a car, you don't pay no interest at all. You know good and well you're going to trade your car in a few years. You want a new one. Well, shoot, lease your car, get lower payments. I mean, just do whatever you got to do. But these people bank on us, not paying attention to that game. Even when you look at the immigrants that come in here, they play the game very well. It's certain government programs we should be getting for business, but we don't go after it. Or some of us, as I've been told, we don't want to do the legwork or the extra things you got to go through to get the bag. And a lot of things not going to be handed to us, and it's done by design. But we gotta understand that these people are waging economic racism on us every day. And that's what, and also our, not being educated in ways we're harming ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? And because that's what I see with black people. Because trust me, when I go into Houston, I see black folks at every nice place. So you can't tell me. That's why I don't like to hear y'all tell me we so poor, we don't have nothing. Well, how is it y'all in every restaurant that's expensive in Houston, y'all in every mall shopping, y'all driving the best cars, y'all doing everything. So I don't want to hear it. My issue is I just want us to appropriate our money where it needs to be. And that way we can make it as a people, because there's no reason for the Asians have a whole section in Houston, Chinatown, and it's in their writing and everything. And I don't fault them because they have their own grocery stores, their own banks, their own lawyer's office, dentist's office, anything that you need. You do not have to leave that community. So a person that's illegal, that's Chinese, could be an illegal Chinese and never get caught by the police because they don't never have to leave their area for nothing at all. That's how they get over here to this country. Hey, just get to America illegally and come to Chinatown. You never got to leave out of it. You can work here. You can do everything right here. And that's what black folks need. We need that. But then at the same time, we're building something. We too loud. We talking too much. We talking. Another thing, which I'm trying to see when this interview going to be. I'm supposed to be trying to do an interview with the brother that's the farmer up there that's dealing with those issues. I'm gonna double check on that. I'm supposed to be doing an interview with him. If you buy land and you know how these white folks are so evil, then y'all got to learn the game. Y'all got to learn the game. For instance, you go buy 1,000 acres of land. Don't go buy 1,000 acres of land in your name. Create you an LLC to go buy that land and create an LLC. I'm going to give you the game for what it is. This is how you got to do it. You may not like how I'm about to say it, but I understand the game if you're going to be here, right? If you don't want to deal with what I'm telling you, well, then you already know how I feel about that. Get your passport and let's go ahead on and start getting some land in the African continent or the Caribbean, or going to a place like Aruba. They're going to have no hurricanes or whatever, right? Get you an LLC and call it something generic and sound white. Like you can call your LLC John Washington LLC, or you can call it Washington Assets Group LLC or something like that, right? Buy the land with the LLC. The white people show up and they're like, who own this? And say, they say, actually, you say, oh, you own this land? No. I'm just leasing the property from a corporation. I just lease it and I just maintain the land for them. And so basically they go check, it's not owned by you. It's owned by a company. And you can easily form a corporation even out of state. You don't have to form a corporation in state, right? So they don't know anything. Cause that's all. So when you go up there, I own 1,000 acres of land. Ooh, y'all, I own 1,000 acres. Man, them white folks are coming. Them white supremacists are coming. I'm telling you, they coming. Y'all gotta be smart on how you move. Get your stuff put in LLCs where they have to pierce the corporate veil to even get at you certain ways. Like them white supremacists are dumb. They dumb. They are so dumb. And your movements got to be like, you got to move in silence and move certain ways. I'm just saying, I'm just giving that example because I thought about it. And listen, you have a right to buy 1,000 acres of land. You have a right to buy 10,000 acres of land if you can purchase it. And I'm not saying you're not. But I'm saying is, when you're going to go to certain areas where these white supremacists are at, you got to know how to move certain ways. You got to know how to play a business game. You got to have your lawyers on deck to handle certain things. You can't just be out there by yourself, because that's the one thing they bank on too, our people being by ourselves. And trust me, with the brother with the farm, the sister with the farm, that's classic what they did to our people for what, hundreds and hundreds of years. That's classic. They've been doing this to us. So this is why we as a community got to, get together. Of course, like I said, I'm trying to get an interview with the brother so we can get the story out more. I'm going to talk to Kellen about it here shortly, actually, after this podcast. But as a community, we got to have each other's back, especially with situations like that. But we got to learn how to start putting things, doing things in more of a business sense. Because, in America, you got to lessen your ability to be a target. We are targets because we black. We are. But learn how to lessen your ability to be a target. Let them really dig to go find out if you really own something or somebody else owns something from somewhere else, right? Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the podcast. Greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. And we'll definitely see you on the next one.